Hey, Shalom, Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Hey, Shabbat, Shalom, man. Pray y'all brothers and sisters getting y'all rest around the four corners of the earth. First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son. Shout out to the sister Mary of Bethany that anointed our King with the precious ointments before His burial, and also shout out to our ancestors, men, women, and children that chose death before dishonor. And that's actually what I'm gonna touch on a little bit today. I'm gonna get John chapter 15, starting at verse 18. In the title of that chapter, before it starts, it says comfort in persecution. And I think even now more than ever, we got to be comfortable in persecution. We can't escape persecution. I know a lot of us in this truth try to escape the persecution that the Bible already said was gonna come and happen to us. And a lot of us get comfortable, and then a lot of us, and it all goes back to fear. It all goes back to being fearful and lack of faith. When you do these things, when you try to hide from persecution, when the Bible already said that these things was going to happen, listen, if you say you're an Israelite, you know what I'm saying, and you can't escape the persecution that's going to come with that real soon. Even now, you may be getting persecuted a little bit in your job places, by your family. These things are bound to happen. You can't escape these things and try to hide from this persecution when the Bible said these things were going to happen to us. So let's go ahead and touch into this thing. I don't want it to be a long lesson. We're going to make it short and sweet, Lord willing, but Lord willing, it be edifying to whoever need to be edifying to. But it's the book of John, chapter 15 and verse 18. If the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. So before the world hated us, before, your family members say that you was weird because you was in this cult, right? Before, your job was looking at you crazy, your co-workers were looking at you crazy. The world hated Christ first. This ain't nothing new on the earth when now we the only ones getting hated. Our ancestors was hated, right? Our ancestors was persecuted for this truth. When you go back and read First and Second Maccabees, which I'm gonna touch on that more when I keep reading, you had our ancestors was choosing to die rather than get down and break the commandments of God. They was choosing rather to die. So that they wasn't hiding from persecution. Right? They wasn't scared of persecution. They wasn't trying to cover themselves up. You know what I'm saying? You had the woman in Second Maccabees chapter 7, the woman and her seven kids. They wasn't hiding from persecution. They was ready to die. So how much more us having that spirit now, ready to die, right? Find joy in persecution instead of trying to hide from persecution. The Bible said, if the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. He said, if you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. So the Bible saying, hey man, if you was of this world, the world would love you. You would get a pat on your back. Everybody would talk to you and smile in your face. But you was called out of this world. You were called to be holy. You was called to be set apart. You was called to be different. You wasn't called to blend in darkness with the world. You was called to be that light. But a lot of people come in this truth, or a lot of people been in this truth, and they try to blend in with the world because they're trying to escape that persecution. So when they go into their job site, they'll tuck their fringes in because they don't want to be looked at as different. They don't want nobody to ask what those things on your fringe, what those things is in the bottom of your shirt. So they tuck them in or they hide them, or they don't tell, they don't tell their family members that Christmas or Thanksgiving is pagan. They invite them to a Christmas dinner and they'll go instead of telling them that I can't do that. So a lot of people try to blend in with the persecution. A lot of people try to blend in with the world to try to escape the persecution. They try to hide that they Israelites when they're around other people. But when they by themselves or when they're at camp, they letting everybody know they Israelites. But when they had a job site, they hiding that they Israelites, right? They at camp with the fringes on, then they go to the job site and they take their fringes off because they want to hide that they Israelites because they don't want people to look at them funny. But the Most High God, the Bible just said, like I said, at the title of the title of this chapter or this verse, it said comfort in persecution. We got to have faith. We can't care what other people think about us in this walk, man. You can't care what people think about you. You're gonna always have somebody say something about you in this walk because you're different. You're keeping the commandments, but you can't try to hide from persecution and try to soften, trying to kind of crouch over in because you don't want nobody to say nothing to you about the truth because you're scared to talk about it. No, man, we got to stand boldly in this thing, man. He said, he said, verse 20, remember the world, verse 20, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So the Bible said, man, hey, Christ said, listen, the word said, if they persecuted me, they're going to persecute you. You ain't better than me. Right? I went through this stuff. I went through this type of stuff. But, you're going to have to go through the same thing if you call yourself a follower of me. If you picking up your cross and following me, you can't be scared of persecution. A lot of people scared of persecution in this truth. A lot of people scared to go poor. A lot of people scared to lose their car. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people scared to lose their home. They scared of that persecution, right? A lot of people scared to lose their job for the Lord. That's why people, a lot of people work on the Sabbath day, right? A lot of people work on the Sabbath day and they try to make all type of excuses about why they working on the Sabbath day when the Bible clearly tells you not to work on the Shabbat. And then when you turn around and look at it, when you turn around and read about our forefathers in the Bible, they was getting put to death for not trying to break the commandments. Right, when you read, like I said, First and Second Maccabees, that's a perfect book to read and to get into, and just to see how our forefathers move. Right, they wasn't compromising with the ways of this world. They didn't care if they lost their life. They didn't care. Do you think they care if they lost their job? Do you think they care if they lost their house? If they didn't care to lose their life, they didn't care. They was willing to die than to break the Most High God's commandments. But a lot of people come up with all these different type of excuses saying why you have to break God's commandments and try to justify it. No, man, that's off, man. We have to be strong in this thing. Persecution, yeah, but you might lose things. You might lose family members. That's part of the walk. You can't soften up your walk. You're trying to smooth talk and trying to escape that stuff that's coming. No, you gotta stand boldly in the fire, bro. You lose your family because of this truth. Okay, you lose your house or you go homeless because you wasn't willing to break the Sabbath. Listen, I know plenty of people, even the brothers and sisters in the congregation, right, in our congregation, that lost jobs because they wasn't willing to break the Sabbath day. They lost jobs, and that's part of it. That's part of having the faith in the Most High. Yeah, I lost this job, okay, because I wasn't willing to break it, but He got something else set up for me though. And guess what? Now brothers and sisters got jobs where they can freely take off on the feast days and on the Sabbath days. But you may have to lose some jobs first to get up to that. The Most I want to see your faith, man. The Most High God want to see who truly trusts in me. A lot of people can say they trust in God, right? A lot of people can say have faith in the Most High. But when your job is on the line, right? When your house is on the line, when your family on the line, when losing something is on the line, you see how many people truly got faith. You have people teaching, hey man, you got to have faith in the Lord, right? The Lord can do anything. Is there anything too hard for the Lord? You have to have faith the size of a mustard seed. But when it comes to a job, they don't have faith that the Lord can get them another job. They don't have faith that the Lord can soften soften their boss's heart to allow them to keep this job. A lot of people don't even pray these things. A lot of people in this walk don't even pray. And I'm harping so much on this topic because this is a topic that you hear all the time in Israel. I heard this from a lot of people, man, that's saying, hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. You may have to work, but no, you got to stand boldly for the words of the Lord, man. You got to stand boldly for the words of the Lord and pray and have faith that the Lord can provide something else. But a lot of our people be so hasty, right? They be so hasty and they don't truly believe that the Most High God can do this thing. So then they get comfortable with working on the Sabbath, right? Because, I don't want to lose my job, right? The Bible said in 2 Timothy 1:7, the Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. So you think the Most High, He just said in John chapter 15 and verse 20, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. Hey, Christ was going from house to house doing his work. He didn't have a set home that he was at. He was moving, going back and forth. And that's how some of us may have to be in this thing. we can't get so comfortable in this captivity and allow our boss to be our God. That's what it becomes. Your boss is your God. You know, you tell him, hey, I gotta keep the commandments of my God. Exodus 20:8 say I can't work on the Sabbath. Then your boss say, no, forget all that. You know what I'm saying? No, I need you in. I need you in or you fired. So now it becomes a choice. You know, you already done told him what your God said. Now, are you going to keep that mindset and you gonna obey your God, or you gonna make your boss your God and you gonna be like, well, he said I gotta go in, so I'm gonna go in. That's a choice. You always got a choice. You always have a choice, man. Nobody can't make us do nothing in this walk. You have a choice to obey the Most High God or not. When you think about the Hebrew boys that were thrown into the furnace, they wasn't willing to bow down to an idol. They wasn't willing to bow down to an idol. Why wasn't they willing to bow down to an idol? Because it was a sin, right? It was a sin to bow down to an idol. So they rather got thrown into a furnace. And we're not even in to that time yet for us to get persecuted like that, getting put to death. You know, choose your God to get put to death, or choose your God to get thrown in prison. We're not even in that situation yet, and you still have people still folding and breaking God's commandments willingly, knowing it's a sin, and willingly doing it, and we're not even getting persecuted like how our ancestors was back then. So just imagine the times that we coming in. If you have people already folding right now, how much more in that day when you do have to choose death, you know what I'm saying, or get down with the beast system. You have to choose to let your kid die in front of your face, or get down with the beast system. It's gonna be a lot of people in this truth that call themselves Israelites that's gonna fold in that day because they already folding now. This is the test run. Right, this is a test run right now before the big test. And if you already have people folding right now, before the big test, before the big persecution even come, how much more in that day? How much in that day, man? So this is why when I was saying about the Hebrew boys, right, they was willing to get thrown in the fire, right? They was willing to get thrown in the fire, right, in the furnace, rather than break God's commandments. So truly think about that. They didn't want to sin. They knew it was a sin. It was a sin to worship an idol. They understood that it was a sin. So they were like, nah, man, we gonna choose to die. You know what I'm saying? We gonna choose to die rather than to bite down to this idol. So we getting put in that same test. It's nothing new under the sun. Right? Satan come at these same type of tests. It ain't he throws similar tests at us like he did back in the day. Just like, for a perfect example, when Christ was tempted on the mountain, right? And and Satan was saying, you can have all of this. He was showing in the world. He was like, man, all you got to do is bow down and serve me. You can have all of this. He do this to our people even to this day. He do that same type of test. And you can have all of this. You bow down and serve me. You can have this. I give you this. Right? I bless you with this new job. Right? This job paying you. He knowing the amount of money you need. All you got to do is break the Sabbath day. You can have this job. Right? All you got to do is, what he say to our brothers and sisters in the music industry, all you got to do is bow down and serve me. Bow down and serve me, right? Hey, I give you the money, I give you the cars, I give you the clothes. So he throwing the same test that he threw even back then. So now you got to choose, right? Your job on the line. Your job on the line. Now you got a choice. Am I gonna sin and break the holy of the holiest day, the rest day that the Lord said multiple times in the Bible that we must keep? Am I going to break it? Even I know it's a sin, I'm gonna break it. And I'm going to take this job that's going to be paying me good and it's going to provide for my family. That's a choice. Yes, you going to go through that persecution for the Lord, or are you going to say, nah, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth me losing my job. I got to do what I got to. I can't lose my job. I need my job. Well, our ancestors chose their life. They chose to lose their life. So our job ain't nothing to them. But they probably laugh at us if they seen us in today's time, you know what I'm saying? Or they probably wouldn't laugh, they probably be upset because they like, man, y'all ain't go through nothing. This ain't nothing y'all going through. Well, just imagine what our ancestors would say during the time of the Greek captivity, the Maccabees. What they would say. What? We gotta have people folding right now? And these people not taking their babies and throwing them off a cliff because we circumcised them. They not killing them because they choosing to keep the Sabbath day, right? They not torturing them in front of their mother, torturing these women kids in front of their mother because they didn't want to break the commandments. They're not doing that. So why am I seeing my people down there right now in so-called 2026 breaking the Sabbath? I mean, yeah, break freely doing these things. Why are they doing these things and they ain't going through nearly what we went through? That's what majority of them were saying. A lot of them probably will be angry, man. So when you get verse 20 again, he said, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. So the Bible said, man, if they persecuted me, right? If they persecuted me, they're gonna persecute you. If you're a servant, if you're a servant of the Most High God, you're not gonna escape that persecution. You're not, because if you keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, that persecution gonna come one way or another. That persecution gonna come one way or another, man. It can come in different ways. Everybody's persecution not the same as everybody else's, but that persecution gonna come one way or another, man. So you have to prepare yourself for that persecution, right? So he said in verse 20, he said, remember the words that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. And I keep pulling this because it's for a reason. He said, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So it's nothing new under the sun. This is why I keep bringing this out. It's nothing new under the sun, man. You keeping these commandments, persecution gonna come. Why? Because the world don't keep the commandments, and you stand out like a sore thumb. So if you're trying to keep God's commandments, right, the persecution gonna come one way or another. But you can't hide from that persecution. You gotta smile in that persecution, right? You gotta stand bold in that persecution, man. Hey, I was talking to my granddad, right? Friday at work, man. He was talking to me. He was like, man, cause he my boss, right? I work for him. So he like, man, you different, man. He like, he like, man, you different. He was like, he like, you different. You have all these other people that you working with. They focus on now, right? They focus on now. They focus on now. But you focus on living. You focus on living after you die. Like you focus on all that, the kingdom stuff. And he like, you different, you different. And I was smiling, bro. I was looking at like I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to be like these people that I'm around. Because they're not keeping the commandments. If you fitting in, with the people that you're around, or people just look at you like you one of them, you're not doing something right. Hey, to be honest, I took that as a compliment, right? He was telling me these things. I took it as a compliment, like, dang, yeah. So I'm supposed to be I'm supposed to be different. I ain't supposed to be the same. Right? He said, y'all, you say you going to, he said, ain't nobody in our family doing this, man. Ain't nobody in our family was doing this Israelite stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is how you supposed to be looked for the Lord. But a lot of people, they would hear that, and that would kind of make them sad. They would hear that and that would make them be like, you know what, you're right. I come in on the Sabbath day, where I break God's commandments, or I can't keep doing this, man. He right. I don't want to be looked at as weird. That bothers me. But you got to take joy in that. Why? Because Christ went through the same thing. I'm gonna say this again. If people don't see no difference in you, you're doing something wrong. If people don't see the difference in how you moving, the things that you do, how you speak, you doing something wrong, man. He said, verse 21, but all these things will I do. He said, verse 21, but all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. So you got to understand, I don't expect people in the world to understand why I do the things I do. I don't expect people to understand in the world, or that's maybe not in the truth, why do I take off? Why do I rest on the Sabbath day? Why do I wear these long things on the bottom of my shirt? Why I don't eat pork? Why I keep a new moon? What is a new moon? That's weird. Why are you out there, taking off for a new moon? Like, I don't expect people that don't walk in this walk to understand me. So you got to have that same mindset. Don't be trying to fit in and trying to hide for man. That's because that's what you're doing it for. You're doing it for man. When you try to hide this truth, when you try to hide your wisdom, hide your light, you know, you doing it because you scared. A lot of our people, and I'm gonna call it how it is, man. A lot of our people in this walk are scared, right? They're scared, right? They're scared of persecution. They're scared of what they may lose for the Lord. They ain't gonna come out and say it, which I don't expect nobody to. A lot of people ain't gonna come out and say they truly scared of the things they may lose if they come out and say they Israelites, or they may take off for the days that the Lord commanded us to. But it goes down to being scared and lack of faith, and that's something that you have to pray and fast on continually. Something that you must pray and fast on, because Satan he'll continue to test you on these things. He'll continue. Satan know what you be going through. And I'm gonna go back to the job situation, because that'll be the main thing. Satan know what you be going through. Just say, you know, you're on hard times, right? Just say you're on hard times. Then this job come your way, and it's paying you good money. It's paying you good money, great money, the money that you need. But then they're like, you know what? We need you to come in on Saturday. Some people don't say nothing. They'll be like, okay. Some people don't even say, I can't do that. Well, can I come in on Sunday instead? Some people don't even say that. They just be like, okay, yeah. And that's another form of being scared of persecution. You can't be scared of what this man gonna say to you. You gotta tell them, I can't do that. You can't say, well, I might can't, or I don't know. No, you gotta tell them, I can't do that. Why you gotta tell them that? Because God said so. God said that I can't do that. That's part of being bold for the Lord. Who gonna stand up for the Lord? Because if you don't stand up for the Lord, you're the same as the people in the world. The Sabbath day was made for us to be set apart, to be holy from everybody else. So when you're working on that day, you're being the same as everybody else. So you may have people say, they may not even say nothing when they boss say that. Or you may have some people say, well, I don't know if I can do that. I mean, I don't know. What you mean you don't know? You can't do it. What you mean? I don't know if I can do that. You can't do it. The Bible said you gonna die. He said that the Sabbath day is literally part of the 10 Commandments, bro. It's literally part of the 10. So a lot of people know about the Sabbath because they know about the 10 Commandments. So you got to be bold and say it. Go in there and let them know I can't do that. But a lot of times when they boss say, well, you got to choose your job or your religion. He might not say it like that, but that's basically what he's saying when he's saying you got to come in or you can't have this job. You got to choose me. You got to worship me, or you're going to have to, you're going to do what your God say. And there's nothing new from what they was doing back then. These kings was doing back then. You don't have to get on your knees and all hail so and so to be called worshiping that person. No, worshiping that person is, you can also be worshiping that person by disobeying what God said, what God clearly said in his Bible, to do what this person wants you to do, to break what God said not to do. So you could be worshiping that job. A lot of people worship money. Or I need it. So the boss be like, I need you to come in. You're going to have to work. What a lot of our people do. Okay. Understand. But it goes down to and even then you have some jobs will tell you ahead of time, hey, you're going to have to work on Saturday. And a lot of people in the truth will still take the job. A lot of people will still take the job when the man done told you that you're going to have to work. Like, he didn't tell you down the line. He didn't throw you off guard and tell you, oh, I need you to come in on the Sabbath day. He told you ahead of time before he gave you the job. Listen, if you take this job, bro, sis, you got to come in and work on the Sabbath. Listen, you're gonna have to come in and work. They told you ahead of time, but a lot of people take it. But why? Because they scared of persecution. They scared of, well, if I don't have this job, I'm gonna lose my house. You think the Most High God cares about that? Like, I want y'all to truly think about this. Truly think about what the prophets before us went through, right? What the prophets before went through. Do you think the Most High God truly care about you losing your job, losing your house for him? If you have our prophets getting put to death, right? If you had our prophets had to eat dung, marry a harlot, you know what I'm saying? Literally get smitten, stoned for the name of the Lord. Do you think he cared about you losing your house because you didn't want to go homeless? That the Lord truly cared. The Lord would actually take joy in that. The Lord will actually take joy in that if you don't take a job, because he see that as, oh, that person got boldness and faith. I can use that person. That's how the Most High God see that. He see that like, okay, dang, this person could have had a job that can pay for their whole house and their car, but they chose not to do it because of breaking my commandments. Oh, that person, they're bold. And that person got faith in me. So let me give him something else. That was a test. He passed that test. Let me give him something else. That's how the Most High God moved, man. The Most High God would take joy in that, man, because you chose him over the world. And a lot of times it don't be easy. A lot of these tests that get thrown at us don't be easy. They be hard. They be one of the hardest things because you got to choose something that you truly feel like you need, to survive. You have to choose that, or you have to choose the Most High a lot of times. And there been plenty of situations of plenty of people, man, that they wasn't willing to work on the Sabbath day. They turned down a job, right? Then months on down, the Most High gave them a job. It was better for them, and they also was able to take off on the days at peace. They ain't got to worry about their boss coming. I need you to work. They took off, was able to, because it's jobs out here that allow you to not work on the Shabbat. But you got to really believe that. You got to truly want that. You got to truly go search that. You don't have to work. They don't make us do nothing. You know what I'm saying? They can't make you come in and work. That's a choice. That's you choosing to do that. They can't make you come in and work and got a gun in your head and they saying you got to come in, nigga, or you fired. No, that's something that you choose to do. But it's people out here that's not breaking the Shabbat, and they work, they get off. But you gotta truly, sometimes you gotta pray these things. You gotta fast. You gotta have faith. Literally go to the Lord and ask the Lord, can you find me a job that don't have me working on the Sabbath day and I make decent money to survive? But a lot of people don't pray these things. A lot of people don't pray these things, man. They be so hasty in getting this thing and saying I have to work on the Shabbat, but they don't go to the Lord and pray that the Lord don't have them work on the Shabbat. Remember, we can't put the Lord in a box. We can't. Is anything too hard for the Lord? Is anything too? I don't believe so. This type of faith we got to have, man. Going back to reading what our ancestors went through, that should give us even more faith to stand boldly for these commandments. The hell if I lose a house? The hell if I lose family? Right? The hell if I lose a job? Because our ancestors, they had to endure more. They lost their lives for this Bible that I say I believe in. So if I'm not willing to lose my life for this Bible I believe in, if I'm not willing to lose my job for this Bible I believe in, if I'm not willing to lose this house for this Bible I believe in, these clothes for the Bible I believe in, going homeless for the Bible I believe in, do I truly believe in this Bible? Do I truly believe in what this Bible say? Do I truly believe? Am I truly like my ancestors that died for this Bible? Can I truly say I died for the Lord? A lot of people say I die for the Lord. In that day, I'm gonna die for the Lord. That's what a lot of people say. In that day of persecution, when they got a gun in my head, when I'm under a guillotine, I would die for you, Lord. I would die for you. But they can't. A lot of people can't even lose their house for the Lord. A lot of people can't turn down a job for the Lord. So how do they expect to die for the Lord? These are things to truly think about. We have to be bold in these. You have to be bold. It starts now. We have to be bold now, because if you bold now, you're gonna be bold in that day of persecution. If you scared now, if you compromising now, you're gonna compromise and be scared in that day when it comes, when your head under a guillotine, when they got a gun to your child head in front of you and saying all you gotta do is denounce your name of the Lord. and he'll live or she'll live. It's gonna be quick. And a lot of people gonna be like, well, we gotta use wisdom, right? I'm just I believe in the Lord, but we gotta use wisdom. So I don't want my child to die. Or if they kill me, how my kids gonna survive without me? So we gotta use wisdom. So let me denounce the name of the Lord to survive, so I can protect them and we can still serve the Lord. A lot of people gonna use that. You gotta use wisdom to their downfall, man. A lot of people gonna use that saying, we gotta use wisdom. And yes, we gotta use wisdom, of course, but certain situations you don't use wisdom for. Certain situations, it's just a complete no. I'm not gonna denounce the name of the Lord. I'm not gonna eat that pork, right? I'm not gonna kill my brother, right? I'm not gonna break the Sabbath day. These are things that's complete no. These shouldn't be no, well, we gotta use wisdom. No, it shouldn't be that, man. It's strictly what this Bible say, man. So when you get verse 21, he said, but all these things were they doing to you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. He said, but now they have no clock for their sin. He that hateth me hateth my Father also. If I have not done among them the works which none of other men did, they had not had sin. But now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. So when you go back to verse 24, right? He said, let me read it slowly. If I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. That's deep. That's deep. But now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father, man. So you can be out here doing these things, man. You can be out here doing the works, right? You can be out here doing the works. But a lot of people, even since it's just being you, a lot of people don't want to see it because or hear it because it's you saying it, because it's you doing it, right? And they don't understand. A lot of people don't understand what they do, man. We have to pray for a lot of our people because they know not what they do. They don't understand when they come when they hate you, right? When they plotting on you behind the scenes, they doing it to the Most High God, and they doing it to His Son, man. Because when you had people persecuting Christ, they was persecuting the Father too. They didn't realize that though. They didn't think like that. And a lot of our people now don't think like that either, man. They don't think like that. That I'm persecuting this person, I'm persecuting the Most High God. They don't know how the Most High God operate. They don't know how the Most High God get down. They don't know what the Most High God can cause them to get sick, cause them to get paralyzed in a car accident, cause them to, they're eating that pork chop and they choke on it and die. They don't know that the Lord can do these things, but we do though. That's why we have to pray for our people in the world that don't know about this truth, man, because they don't know the truly harm that they can be doing to the Most High God, and they thinking they doing it to us. You know, so then that's all I had, man. Was it? Let me get this last precept. I said I was gonna stand. Let me get Romans. I'm in Revelations. I'm gonna close out. Revelations 2. Because these things are coming. Revelations 2 and 10. Fear none of those things where thou shalt suffer. So we're not supposed to fear none of these things that we're gonna suffer. And this not even in the times that we coming in, not even just then, even the times we in now, we can't fear none of the things we suffer for the Lord. You may die for the Lord. You may lose things for the Lord, right? You may get wounded for the Lord. We can't fear none of these things. The Bible said, fear not. You know how many times the Bible say, fear not? It said plenty of times, or trust in me, have faith. He said, fear none of those things where thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. So the Bible said the devil gonna cast some of us into prison. So a lot of people gonna fold even now in that day. Oh, I can't get thrown in prison. No, I can't, man. Hell no. That was them other Israelites. That wasn't us. That's them other Israelites. No, don't do that. I gotta use wisdom. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm not an Israelite. Don't kill me. So I can make it home to my family the next day. The Bible said, he said, behold, the days shall come of you into prison. He said, the devil shall cast some of you into prison that ye may be tried. Ye shall have tribulation 10 days. So this is persecution. You gonna get tried. They getting tried for the words of the Lord. This is what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying, that the spirit that we must be in starting now. That spirit can't magically hop on you in that day. You have to be working on yourself now. Spirit of boldness now. Pray these things. Spirit of boldness, spirit of faith now. so you can be bold in that day. You can't expect to be bold in that day. You know what I'm saying? You can't be expected to be bold in that day if you ain't even bold now for the small, simple things that our ancestors would laugh at if they were going through the stuff we're going through right now. The Bible said, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer." He said, "Fear none of those things that thou shalt suffer." Right? Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and have tribulation 10 days. But be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So understand what this saying, man. I want y'all to truly, before y'all say something, truly think about what I'm finna say. We are coming into a time that we're gonna get thrown into prison or put to death because we don't want to sin against our God. They may have, when you read about the elder Eleazar, and I think it's Second Maccabees, how they try to make him, they wanted him to eat pork. He didn't want to do it. Why? Because it was a sin. He didn't do it. He didn't denounce the name of the Lord. When you read about the woman and her 7 sons, they got put to death. Why? Because they didn't want to denounce the name of the Lord. When you read about a lot of our brothers and sisters that chose not to go to war on the Sabbath, they got put to death. Why? Because they felt like it was a sin, even though in that time, you know, Christ said it's wise to do good. So it wouldn't have been a sin for them. Or it's what he said is, he's not wise to do good. He said, basically, what he was saying is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. So it wouldn't have been a sin for them to fight on the Sabbath because that was wise to do good, man. Right? That was wise to do good. If they didn't do that, they already got killed off. It ain't like they wasn't working. They wasn't buying and selling. So it didn't go against the Sabbath. Right? They wasn't going in, clocking in and working. They were just defending themselves, but they were so zealous for the law. They were so zealous for the law that it was like, man, we're going to choose to die. Right? If it's the Sabbath day, I want to die resting. That's probably I know that's the mindset some had. They're like, man, you know what? It's a Sabbath. I want to be remembered as resting on this day. So they're going to have to kill me. You know, so a lot of our people was doing that to be zealous for the law. So the times that we coming in, you're going to have to choose. Are you going to sin? Are you going to sin? Or are you going to, what I'm trying to say? We're coming into a time, rather, you're going to have to choose. Are you going to go against your God or not? Right? Are you going to get down with us? Or are you going to go through this consequence? Now, he's still going to get thrown in prison real soon because we don't want to go against our God. How much now us practicing now to get our mind prepared for that? How much us practicing now turning down certain jobs is having us sin against our God? How about let's practice that now instead of doing it? How about us telling our family member, nah, I'm not eating no pork chops. I'm not coming to Thanksgiving dinner. I can't do it. How much us being bold now to prepare ourselves for the times that we're coming in? Because if the Most High God gonna have us go through persecution in that day that we coming in, perilous times that we coming in, we're gonna have to choose Him or sin. He's trying us now. He's trying us now. Who is gonna choose Him over sin? Who's gonna make an excuse to sin? Who's gonna do that now? It's gonna be a test that's coming, but it's a practice test. How many people gonna fold right now, even when persecution ain't really high for real? They ain't getting thrown in prison. They ain't getting killed. They ain't seeing their kids get killed in front of them. Who gonna fold even now? Because these people that's folding now gonna get weeded out. Gonna get weeded out, man. So we gotta stand bold. That's why he said, and he said after he said you're gonna get thrown in prison, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Be thou faithful unto death. Be thou faithful unto death. If you have to lose your job for a Sabbath, if you have to lose your job because you didn't want to disobey God's commandments, be faithful. Be faithful still. If these people got to be faithful unto death, how much more are you being faithful now when you just losing something? When your life is not on the line. This is what I'm saying. You got to pick up what I'm throwing at you, man. I'm telling you, man, get ourselves right now. We got to start praying more. We got to start praying that the Most High give us a spirit of boldness, that the Most High give us a spirit of courage to endure these things. Because if you're not praying these things and you don't truly believe in the Lord, of course you're going to compromise. Of course you're going to get down with whatever master say, whatever this system say. Because you're not truly rooted. You ain't even built yourself up now. We ain't seen nothing yet, bro. We ain't seen nothing yet. And if we already breaking God's commandments now for a job, for a family member, for a house, for clothes, for food, if we already breaking these things now to be comfortable in this captivity, how much more in that day when you have to choose him, you have to choose the Most High God, or you have to choose for them to punish you, to execute you, to cut your arm off, to cut your finger off, because you didn't want to denounce your father, man.